my question to you guys, as it says right there in the title, and this is an open forum, so please feel free to just take it and run. Should we be worried about the transfer activity so far or lack of? Discuss.
It depends. It depends, I would say. Like what is it the club saying that they want to get rid of these players? You know, the Anthony, the Rashford, and so on and so forth. Or is it the players saying that we want to go immediately? Because I've been saying all summer that, you know, we need to get rid of them any means necessary. And that should be the attitude and the mind and the mind frame of the club. So they should be offering out X players for X amount of price, whether that's 10 to 20 million, whatever it needs, any means necessary to get them out. Or is this the players saying, buy out our contracts, we don't want to be here anymore? Like, which angle is it coming from, this kind of narrative? So that's one thing. And then it is a bit worrying, but if it's the players that I need to go, and depending on the angle of in which it's coming, the direction it's coming from, then I'm not heavily worried. I still want to see Brian in through the door, though. The players do need to come in, and then we do have another. And then if you can look at the free market and get an Ndidi or Nelson Semedo just to bolster the squad, then hopefully you can push out a Luke Shaw and a Casemiro as well. So I am worried, but the plan looks like it's there. So I'm not too worried at the same time.
What are you saying? What are you saying, guys? What are you saying? Talk to me.
I think it's the club side, people leaving, and I think there's a pretty clear strategy for it, because one of the problems you've had with most all of these players, or quite a few of them in particular, is that they've been real picky about where they want to go. They want to leave United, but they really want to go a specific place, a specific location, a specific club. And they think, you know, I've got the leverage. I can sit here at United. I'll keep going. I'll keep playing. I'll only leave if I can get a move to my ideal location. And there's multiple of them that are in that boat. And I think this message of, not really, you're not going to be with the team. You're not going to be with the club. You're not going on the tour. You're not going to be at training with anybody. You're going to be sat on your ass. And then in the under 23s, if you don't get a move, most likely, or under 21s, should say, you got to broaden your options, not delay this, not wait. You need to broaden your options and get a move in order to, if you want to play football next season. Because the worst thing that can happen to any player financially and in their value, no matter what contract they have at United, is to not play a year. You sit out a year, your value is in the absolute pits. There's no good that comes of it from a player, and they all want to play football at the end of the day. So I think that it's really putting it in their face, like, are you expecting to come back on Monday? Maybe everything's not so serious. No, it is. You're not a Manchester United player anymore. You're not a part of this team. You're not going to be registered. You're not going to be on the lists. You're not playing. So get a move. Don't sit there and wait for one club to come in. And that's the only place you could go in the whole world. And if they don't come in, then what? You know, that's really what's holding up quite a few of them at this point in time, is that insistence on that idea. And you can only do that if you feel like you might have a backup plan that you could keep playing at United and staying and all that. And that's just not going to happen.
Minna, do you think it was the right move for the club to put out these 5 players have said they want to leave, so we've given them extra time to find new clubs? Is that the right thing to do? And is what we're seeing just the fact that, like what James is saying, it's hard to move these players on, so it's slowing us down? It's not necessarily that the club's done anything wrong. The wrongs we're doing has already happened.
I'm in two ways about it. Yes, it's the right thing to do, but I also think that kind of puts the ball in the court of buying clubs, because they know that Manchester United want to get rid of these people. As much as Man United try to package it as the players want to leave, everyone knows that United want these players out. And what actually intrigues me as well in terms of the summer transfer window, because we've kind of been told quite a bit about this idea of selling to buy, but these players that are being forced out, and some of them actually deserve to leave, they should be leaving. But why is it that the players that helped United finish 15th there's not really anything around there in terms of the fact that it's being publicly said that some players, you know, their future still lies at Manchester United and they want to fight for their spot, and they will only leave if the club make them leave. You know, I think they should also hold a bit of the burden as well, because I can't fathom the idea that everybody returns back to pre-season when they all finished 15th last season. I can't. That to me is ridiculous. And we can talk about the players that United are linked to, because I also think that is a joke as well. This ain't 2019 to be linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Didi. No matter how people tried to package it as a silver lining in the cloud, the reality is Manchester United have fallen so far behind that I can't even say look at our rivals like Arsenal and City and Liverpool and even Spurs. I can't even say that because they're not even our rivals. We need to start looking towards the lower side of the table, maybe the newly promoted teams. And if you're even looking at them, they're moving a lot more quicker in the summer transfer window because they need to bolster their squad. Manchester United don't have a sense of urgency in this window, and that is what probably bothers me the most part. And maybe it's because, again, like I said, it's this idea of selling to buy. But are you lot telling me there's no doubts in your head about this Mbeumo thing? You lot telling me that there's nothing in your stomach right now that is making you second guess where the situation might turn out to be? I saw João Pedro get mentioned on a Monday and signed for Chelsea on a Thursday. It's been nearly 6 weeks. And there's
they paid a mad fee for João Pedro. Let me ask you a question, James. But 55 million is crazy.
Well, James, let me ask you a question then. Yeah, what if it comes out that Man United end up playing Bryan Mbeumo the price that Brentford want?
I mean, like 70 or something.
Then what? What do we do then when we've wasted 6 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't look at it as wasted 6 weeks. Training started today. I think he's due back in like 2 or 3 days. So wasted time. It's not like it's. I think the wasted time is the time he's not in training, right? That he's not here, that he's not with the team. That's wasted time to me. That's time that we can't afford to waste. That isn't good. I think, at the end of this, you come back and you pay 70 million, and it looks like, well, why didn't you just pay 70 million in the beginning? But it doesn't look great on that front. I don't think they'll do that. But what's the alternative? I guess is also the question here, and the difficulty that we're running into. What is the alternative? Where do we get a player that makes that kind of impact? And when you look at the players that are out there for sale, what we turn to Kudus, he's got an 80 million release clause. They're going to ask for that if we were to try to make an alternative move for someone like Kudus. They're not going to give us a discount. They're not going to give us a Spurs discount.
They're our rivals.
Get him for a little less.
But they're not our rivals, mate.
They're not giving us a discount.
So are Brentford, though.
So actually, and so are Brentford, to be fair.
This is our man. Doesn't matter. Get the man that we want.
If we're buying in the Premier League, I think this is the problem. We didn't buy anybody from the Premier League last season. But look at how long it took them to adapt, how long it took them to change, how long it still we're wondering, all right, second season, are they going to be better? Is Joshua Zirkzee going to be better? Is De Ligt going to be better? Is Ugarte going to be better? Can they adjust? We get guys in the Premier League, we probably don't need that adjustment period. They're going to hit the ground running. It's kind of worth the money. I'd rather pay 70 million for Mbeumo than, I don't know, what's the alternative there?
70 for Højlund.
70 million. 70 million, James.
We've spent 70 million a lot worse than Bryan Mbeumo,
I know. But they were saying that's part of the problem as well. Sort of Brentford, all along Brentford have been going,
everybody
look,
knows,
Mateus Cunha, you spent 62.5 million. Bryan Mbeumo is our best player, so he's minimum worth that. And they were sort of saying, well, this is kind of what James alluded to earlier, because like João Pedro, those deals have almost inflated the Premier League market a little bit. They're going, well, João Pedro can go for 60 million.
100%.
Bryan Mbeumo's, he's way better. He's way better than them. So he should be 70 million or what have you. But to answer the question, yeah, I am worried. How like Mina say, how can you not be? It's the first day of preseason training, one player through the door, but it's not really the incomings I'm that worried about in terms of, only Cunha's there today. I'm more worried about, like Mina said, the same players. same players. I mean, those players, had they not been, a soft exiled, shall we call it, sort of the soft exile of, well, you don't have to come back. Like I said, it's study leave. The library's open to revise, or you can revise at home if you want. So everyone goes, well, I'll stay at home then, obviously. That's basically what those players have been told. Sort out your move. But it still doesn't feel like we're any closer to doing anything, does it? And like I said this morning, who's next? Outside of Bryan Mbeumo, I genuinely can't tell you who like the next concrete target is for Manchester United. Today, we were linked to and then not linked to a Valencia midfielder in the space of 30 minutes. And to the point that everyone knew it wasn't real when it came out. It was like, no, we're really close to getting this Valencia midfielder. And everyone was like, no, we're not. And then like 30 minutes later, it was No, we're not actually. we know the news cycle so well that when Callum Wilson was like, oh, he's going from Newcastle to everyone went, give it 45 minutes or give it a day because it will come round. But I don't know. So I'm twitchy. I'll be honest. I'm twitchy. Time's ticking away. I'm preseason that tour of US. It's not that far away, is it? The first game in Sweden's was it like 12 days?
Yeah,
Anytime.
I'm kind of I'm en route to worry. I'm not quite there yet. It's mainly because it's like the players who returned today, you know, a lot of those problem players aren't there. And whether that's to sort out a move or whatever, they're not in the building. And the ones that were in the building, the majority of them like can stay. Like there was a very few of them that I thought get out of the club or whatever. But you know, like having Leon and Cunha walk through the door, it's still a nice feeling to see. I still think they're two very good signings, and like we'll see what their relative impacts are going to be. I think it's one of them where things are happening so quickly around us that even if you did have any patience, you can't look elsewhere and not be jealous. Like I look at Arsenal signing Gyökeres potentially, and I'm not only jealous of the fact that they can get him, but I'm jealous of the fact that if Gyökeres came to us, we wouldn't be able to bring the best out of him, whereas they probably can. And that's what I'm worried about. So I'm worried about, like, can we actually get some strength in depth across the pitch rather than just going for a massive signing anywhere on the pitch and thinking they're going to fix everything. So I think it does strike me as one of those windows, though, where it needs a domino to fall. And then you can get some kind of momentum behind the snowball a little bit, whether that is a big signing coming in or an outgoing. I think as soon as that first outgoing goes and you sort of get a feel for it and you know what's going on, then that also indicates to buying clubs, it indicates to the people internally at United what values are, what type of targets we're going for, and things start to pick up eventually. Like I said last time when Chelsea bought Delap that I thought that was going to be a bit of a moving target. And since then, Gyökeres is probably on the move. Sesko's price has come out. Pedro's gone. So things are going to move once things happen. And I think the one that's clearest on the way out from what I can see is maybe Anthony to Betis. But again, like James said, like I don't know if I'm being a bit of an arse when I say this, but I don't want it to be their choice. Like, I don't want you to, like, after what you've done for the club, I don't want you to be there being like, I'm not going anywhere unless it's them. Marcus Rashford, look at yourself in the mirror, mate. You're getting paid a lot of money and you've done very little for that. And you expect Barcelona. Like, if they come and get you, whatever. But, bro, lower your standards. You weren't that great for Villa. You were okay.
You see, that's the thing, Dev. They don't do that. This is what I mean about the player side and the business side. The players don't do that until it gets late. Because they don't, as they see it, they're like, we're not going to do Man United any favors. We're done here. We're done here. Your agent's going to say to you, you've got your contract, so you're legally bounded. So don't worry about that. Your money's getting covered. Whether you sit here throughout the summer, and so we got time to work. They don't need to work to the deadline of, we better get our skates on though, because they do want to get, they have given Cunha a number already, so we kind of need to get going. It's like, nah, we just wait for Barca. We'll take our time. We do this, we do that, keep yourself training. And that's the thing, like, because the sins of the past have already been committed, this is where we don't have the control. We have the I think we've just exercised the maximum amount of control we have. We are not financially strong enough to go, I see what you're saying, you're shaking your head there, Marcel, because there's always more you could do, I get that. But we're not financially strong enough to say, actually, you know what, Rashford, here's your money, you're a free agent, paid off. Sancho, here's your money, paid off, ripped up the contract, see you later. Garnacho, actually, you represent 100% profit, but you're taking too long. Here's the we don't have
5 million were accepted. We said 5 million offer.
But why even do it? Why even do it? Like, what benefit does it give us?
But
agents
don't
care. Agents care about the deadline, do they?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. So the players
is an agent going to go from Rashi, you got to be let's work towards the deadline of the US tour for Manchester United. They'd be like, as long as you're at a new club by the end of the transfer window, who cares?
I mean,
when it gets right at the end, don't rule it out. If it gets right at the end, I'll tell you what, we'll just go back to Villa again for a year on loan. Like, we'll just
I do agree and disagree with that though, because it's not really that simple for them. Like, if you wait to the end of the window, there is a huge risk. If nobody signs you, you're screwed. You really are screwed. Like you're
Yeah,
not
but
gonna.
7th of July is like way too early for them
Of
to
course,
be like
of course.
taking
This is
anything.
this is the other thing as well.
We can't
Like, it
rush
is,
those sales. We
yeah,
can,
but
but it is
exactly. But we're
still
stuck.
early.
yeah,
We're
it is
finished. We ain't gonna get
uncharacteristically
five
early
people.
though. Like to have these
For-
conversations. Let's be honest,
yeah, it's a lot
it's
of
very
panic for the first day of
uncharacteristically
training.
early to be having
Unless
these
you've
kind of
gone all the way
conversations.
down on the other side of the spectrum about ripping out contracts, that's the last resort. But there's a spot in the middle. There's a spot in the middle where we say 15 million, ching, gone. 20 million, ching, gone. There's that. We're
That's
not.
what I'm saying. That
Why has
there's
nobody said that yet? Why am I the only one speaking like
no,
this?
we
We're
said
not
that. I
getting
said that
offers,
about
bro.
Sancho. Exactly. To be fair, there's not even been money.
You mean
and
ask for less
It's
money?
not even about
Ask for
offers.
less money.
Why are we not offering? Why are you not offering the sugar to the next door neighbor? Why?
they
Why
are.
is it? Why are we waiting
they
for
are.
offers to come in? Why are we waiting? I'm offering him
That sugar is
he wants to go to-
anthrax.
He's
is
got
the
the Villa
problem.
shirt on.
Nobody wants-
The Nacho's got the Villa shirt on. He's got
Yeah,
the Villa
Marcel,
shirt on.
if
10
you came
million.
to the door with
I
a
mean-
powdery substance, Marcel, I'd be like, I don't want anything to do with it. I'd be looking around for cameras. I'd be like, what?
Jesus,
I was some of
If
your
the Nacho
opinions. I'd be like,
If
are
the
you
Nacho wants to go to Villa,
trying
if
your
the
own
Nacho
supply,
wants to
mate?
go to Villa,
Jeez.
you offer that. You go to the negotiation table and you find that price. It doesn't have to be rip-up contract. Find the price now and get him out the club.
I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. But again, when I'm saying we're not financially strong enough, there also has to be a certain threshold that we have to try and adhere to try and not have the negative on the books. Like, say we wanted to sell Rasmus, we can't just say, tell you what, take 12 million, just get him off the books. He's shit.